listening to the Liquid Shape Podcast with your host, Cody Perez.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Liquid Shape Podcast with Cody Perez.
And Mariah Longfellow.
And it is a sunny, beautiful Sunday morning here in Oregon. Look at this fucking weather outside. I love this shit.
I know. It's nice. I want it to stay forever.
And it's Sunday, so it means we slacked again in getting this done, but better late than never, which means I have to do last-minute editing, and I have practice tonight, and I have blah, 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 this and that.
The typical Perez fashion.
Yeah. And it's not like I actually slack. It's that
we were so busy.
Yeah, we get busy as fuck with everything. And I'm doing a million things at once. Like right now, I'm actually dyeing my beard as I'm right here waiting, doing the podcast. So, and about to have to go to practice. And the boys are probably not going to be able to get their fucking walk in, but maybe later tonight when I get back. Like, I feel bad. I made tortillas this morning. I did my workout and boy.
Cody's gone. I'm going to finish having his birthday party next weekend. So I'm going to get the rest of the house cleaned up.
We did a lot of cleaning yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
We cleaned out the pantry. I cleaned the gross blinds in the kitchen that are covered in food grease. I don't think they've ever been cleaned.
We got rid of a lot of crappy food, like the bad stuff that we shouldn't be eating. No one should be eating. It's poison. So that got tossed the fuck out. Like our trash can is like completely
like filling over.
It's blowing up pretty much. Like it's like fucking all jacked up and whatnot. So we did clean a lot yesterday. Mad props to you for getting those blinds done. I did the patio on Friday, the front patio, because last couple weeks ago I did the backyard patio. Power washing.
There's no injuries this time.
Well, I got an injury on my thumb from cutting stuff, but
why is that? Because Mama sharpened
my knives. Fucking fancy knives, my $1,000 knives.
They could barely cut through a Roma tomato. It was.
Oh my god! And then they're like the great fucking kind of knives, like the expensive ass chef knives, and so
Mama made it good again.
Hell yeah. So with that being said, we are actually going to get our patio finally done tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. So by my birthday next weekend when we have my party, it should be ready to go. I'm excited as fuck for that. Like we have been wanting to do this with our back patio for a long fucking time, and it's just one section of it that we're handling at this time. The majority of the backyard is going to be handled as far as like we're going to level it out. We're adding pavers so that we can actually have a flat surface and make it look pretty back there. We can hang out this summer and have a nice patio set up. Yeah. And then that's just part of one of the projects for the backyard. Of course, we have more ideas that we want to do eventually, but this is just to get it kicked off. It's been a long time coming since I bought the damn yard. It's been tilted. So
you bought the yard, not the house?
Sorry, I bought the house. You can tell my brain is just fucking all over the board right now.
Your is so bad this week.
It's bad. It's getting worse every day.
You want an Adderall?
No, I don't take medication. Anyways, so we're getting the patio done tomorrow. It's getting started tomorrow, and then it should be done within, they said, a day or two. So I'm very excited for that. And then next weekend, like you said, we're having a small little birthday bash here for my birthday, hitting 40 finally.
Woo!
How exciting, right? I don't feel 40. I still feel like I'm in my prime, which I am, essentially. I'm healthy. I am, thank God, knock on wood, that it stays like that. And I want to be young and I've been thriving and kicking like a motherfucker. I'm sober as fuck and very proud of that. Going to hit 3 years in September. And not sober from everything. When I say sober, guys, you guys don't realize that it's not California sober where I'm still smoking weed or any of that. No, fuck that. Sober means you are 100% fucking clean of all of those fucking toxicants like fucking cigarettes and weed and coke and alcohol and what are the pouches that people put in their mouths now and all that shit and vaping and all that fucking stupid ass crap that
Cody barely takes ibuprofen.
I don't even take ibuprofen because I just don't want to deal with any fucking drugs, medications, any of that kind of shit. I don't need that in my life at all. And I'm doing just fine without it. And that's kind of been something that I've been very proud of. And over time, as I've mentioned on here before, I've cut a lot of things out. Like I'm only progressing and growing better as a person. I haven't drank soda for over a year. Any energy drinks in over a year. I just recently, a couple of months ago, started like really paying attention to the labels, and now we've cut out a lot of the bad shit, and I'm feeling amazing from doing that. No artificial flavors, no sugar-free bullshit. If you're doing sugar-free, you might as well just do sugar because you're just causing a lot worse shit to yourself, actually. But very proud of that. So next weekend, we're going to have a barbecue here at the house. and have some close friends come by. I'm keeping it small this year. Usually in the previous years, I've had a lot of chaos and craziness here when we have parties. And so we're keeping it small. And I'm excited just to be around people and good food and good time, some laughs. We just watched the Hulk Hogan documentary, actually, and almost finished it. And fucking, I love Hulk Hogan. I'm a huge wrestling fan, wrestling nerd. So
when he did like the blackout beard thing, that's what it looks
the
like.
blackout beard with the blonde mustache,
Yeah.
like bar handler. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, the greatest.
R.I.P. buddy.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he died. Like I was telling you before, I always thought that him and Ozzy would just live forever, and I was like, those guys will never die.
Like
those guys will never die.
That, one guy from the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger, yeah. It's like there's certain people that are just like, dude, they're larger than life. They're never gonna die. They'll outlive everybody. And so, like, the fact that Hulk Hogan and Ozzy died, and then pretty close to each other, actually.
Well, and then
within time,
what's his face died.
Pee-wee, maybe Pee-wee.
Just died this
Paul
year.
Rubens?
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck Norris. That was another person too.
I
Like
know,
these
but
icons that you just don't ever think they're gonna pass away. And what the fuck?
It's
Like
weird seeing everybody get old. That means that I'm getting old.
yeah, it is weird seeing like some of these rock stars that I grew up watching, and they were in their early 20s, late 20s, whatever. Seeing them all just kind of calming down and getting sober and clean and all that shit. So my goal is that turning 40, I want to go in, be, like I said, my prime. I want to feel great, look great. That way when I hit 50, I'm not on all these medications. I'm not like falling apart and destroyed and just feeling like shit. Like I don't want to be dependent on drugs and alcohol and none of that shit to make me feel good and get that personality out of me. So 40s are going to be my best years yet, hopefully. And I'm excited to be in my 40s with you, with the boys that we have here, my little Taz and Lorenzo. When I made them tortillas, or I made tortillas this morning, I made them a little personal tortilla. I split it up for them and was feeding it to them. They were so excited. Like Taz already knew.
They love it.
They love tortillas. Yeah, I made corn tortillas, and Taz already knew that he was getting some. He's upset because he wants to go on his walk, but last minute we find out that we're doing practice earlier than normal. So I'm right now in the middle of getting that all situated. So as annoying as that can be sometimes, you got to make shit happen. So with that being said, guys, this week's guest is one of our persons that comments a lot on our podcast, always has some awesome perspective. Shout out to my guest on this episode, which is Curious Emberborne. Had a great conversation, Curious, and you don't want to miss it. The stuff that Curious mentioned to me was just shocking. Like the hair on my arms raised when Curious spoke about upbringings and relationships and all that. I was just like, what? Like, this is shit that you read about or see on movies. Like, it's not something that you expect someone to tell you they lived through. Please make sure you listen to segment 2 because you're going to hear some stuff and it's unbelievable, but it's great to see Curious is alive and with the positive attitude and thriving. So also Curious just released some music and is releasing music. And so I encourage everyone to go check that out. I thought I did. I did. You weren't paying attention.
Probably
you just
not.
you don't listen to me.
You don't listen to me either.
I got a million things going on in my head when
I
I'm
know.
like,
I think you told me and you didn't.
I probably did tell you.
You probably did.
All right. So with that said, let's get on into this. And this is going to be the question of the week, which is, what do you want to be remembered for? And some follow-up questions with that is, are your actions reflecting that? Who influenced that desire? What legacy are you building? I wanted to keep it short and sweet because I just want people to basically just get to the point of what they want to be remembered for. Like, what is their purpose? Not necessarily the purpose, because there's purpose, I think, and what you want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. So with that being said, first person here is longtime friend of mine. I grew up with her. Actually, I was in her kindergarten class, or she was in my kindergarten class. I'll say that. Shout out to Lauren Johnson, longtime friend and classmate. And Lauren says, I want to be remembered as someone who treated people kindly, made people feel loved and appreciated. Who influenced that desire? Just how negative and hateful the world has become. I would rather spread love and positivity. Are my actions reflecting that? I like to think so, majority of the time, but no one's perfect. What legacy am I building? Don't know if I figured that one out yet.
I'm right there with you, Lauren. That's kind of my thing too. Obviously, I'll go into mine more, but just treating people kindly, even if they are shitty, it's just still treat them kindly and just move on.
Mind over matter for sure. And
you never know what people are going through, and you got to remember, even if someone is shitty, you don't know what they're going through, what they've been through. and they're just maybe not coping with life. And so they probably ultimately deep down inside probably don't mean to be an asshole or whatever they're doing. But I bet if you were to sit down with them and have a conversation, to come into Jesus, if you will, you'll learn a lot and probably be friends after that or whatever. That's how I live.
Well, you could be the person that either sets them over the top or they're now like going to go on a rampage and destroy everything around them, including themselves. Or you could be that person that changes that negative feeling that they have because a stranger all of a sudden does something nice for them. Maybe you give them a smile, you say hello, or you open the door, or you give them a little bit of hope that not everything around them is complete shit and bullshit. So
especially in today's time, there's just so much happening. I mean, there's always been shit happening, always, but it's just with our media and how we're all like everything's caught on camera, cell phones, everything's just there in your face, bam, 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 bam. So it just gets really intense.
Well, it makes me wonder too when you say that, like, because yes, everything is in our face and we're seeing it more and more and more and more, and it almost desensitizes us. Where we just like, are we at the point right now where we're close to all this negative shit? We're just like, oh, it's just another day, and that's just the way life is, and we get over it. Or there's that other side where people are just like, God, this really sucks. It's really negative. It's really negative. Do we ever get to the point where we're desensitized, or is it where it gets worse and worse with time, and we'll not even accept it, but it just let it go numb or crazy over it. Lauren's an awesome, very positive person since I remember her. So, for her to want to be remembered as someone that is treated people kindly and made people feel loved and appreciated, I would say you're on the right path, Lauren, because you've always been very friendly since I remember. We had some fun times. She lived right down the road from one of my best friends when growing up, so I got to hang out with Lauren a lot, had different classes with her and whatnot. So I think you're doing a great job, Lauren. Keep kicking ass and keep spreading the love and positivity. Next one comes in from Rick Horseman the Fourth, a former guest of this podcast. Kick-ass dude. Shout out to Rick. For the record, he says, this question of the week is awesome. I want to be remembered for a few things. The first is for my innate desire to never quit. The second, for my music. Granted, I know I'm playing covers, but still, I think it'd be great to be remembered for that, to say that I put something out there in the world for people to enjoy. The third, I want to be remembered for me and for who I am, what I've done. In the words of the great Danny Horseman, never give anyone a reason to say anything bad about you. That's what I want to be remembered for. And I love that too. Rick is a really cool dude. Like I said, it just has a positive attitude, and I love that he's doing music and he's chasing his dreams, and
I love that it's covers.
And if
so
it makes
spin on good music,
and if you enjoy it, fucking who cares? Like, you're gonna find people will find you. You will find the people that enjoy it, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And the fact that you never quit, that's actually, I'll get into this more when it's my turn, but I that's one of the things I want to be remembered for, is never quitting. I think that's very important, and never letting the dream die. You gotta keep moving forward, keep pushing, and if something is important to you and you keep pushing for it, that's what better way to be remembered than as someone that never gave up, and you did it your way. You did it because you loved it, not for some of the bad reasons that people will do certain things. So keep kicking ass, Rick. Love it. Next one is from Brandon Gill. Shout out to Brandon. I want to be remembered for my music and knowing that some of what I recorded has helped people make it to the next day and keep pushing forward. I want to be remembered for not letting people give up. Yes, that's another one,
that's
man.
Great.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like, these are great examples of, I think this is an attitude of a musician. We are people that just, we keep pushing forward. We know there's a lot of struggles, especially nowadays. There's just so much music out there, so many musicians, so much talent, so much artists, so much everything in your face. So it's like sometimes it's easy to just say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. There's just too much competition. I'm not getting the recognition I feel like I deserve or whatever. And the fact that there's people that still have this attitude of keep going forward. I'm going to keep pushing it. I'm going to keep doing my things. I enjoy this. I fucking love that. What do you think?
Yes. I love watching you.
Did you see that? I wish people could see me right now. I'm like I'm driven right now. I'm just like, I'm speaking with my hands. I'm speaking from the heart right now.
No, I think that I love Brandon, and I just think he's so great.
Oh, this is not Brandon, the one you know.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not Brandon you know.
Names.
Because I know a lot of Brandons, I guess. And I know a lot of people. Like, it's...
And I'm bad at names.
You're bad at names, and I've also, like, anytime I bring someone up, you're like, oh, do I know them? I'm like, yeah, you met them, like this and that, this and that. Like since getting with me, I think I've shoved so many people in your face, like that you've met, and I still haven't even showed you a quarter of the people that I like know yet, or that you've met in person yet, which is nuts and whatnots. Brandon's a badass.
Go, Brandon.
Wasn't that a slogan in 2020? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Stop. Do you want me to read?
Yeah, this one's from our buddy Josh Holland, also former guest of this podcast as well. I'm getting some of the people that are on the podcast, and I love that. So I'll let you read it.
Joshua Holland. My dad made a statement that I strive to live by. He used to work for Schwann's food delivery. Ooh, love the Schwann's, man. One time, his regional manager was asking people their goals for the day. They were throwing out their sales goals. He got to my dad, and I've always remembered this. My goal is to have people happier that I came than happier I left. My dad has given me a ton of these nuggets over the years, which is why we're still close to this day. I love that. You get past like sales quotas, blah, blah, blah. It's just, my goal is to leave with people happier than, before. I think that's great.
It is great. And I actually had a conversation with my buddy John about this the other day. Like, you're changing people's lives when you do things like this. Like when someone remembers you for you changing, it could be as simple as you went and did some work at their house, and that just made their fucking, like, that you just made their, like, for example, the guy that's going to be working on our yard, he's going to, for us, we're going to enjoy it. It's going to be time for me and you to be back there with the boys, with our friends, and he's going to change our world. But for him, he may not realize that. I mean, we'll obviously let him know. We'll give him a good rating online and whatnot. If he does a good job, we'll recommend him to people. But changing people's lives could be as simple as you just going and doing your job or whatever. And people sometimes don't always realize that you are making an impact on people every day. It can just sometimes, like when I was working customer service, I remember for me is like I would take 80 to 100 calls, and that one interaction with that person could have made a huge difference in their life from me doing an extension or whatever. And I didn't even realize it. I was just moving on to the next one because I was doing my work. But we do change people's lives every single day, and to want to be remembered as someone that, made people happier, and you're leaving this place a better place than it was when you were before you got here. That's purpose right there. That's a purpose to live.
Yeah.
Next one, I'll let you read the next couple.
Oh, okay. Jacob Funnel Emblem. I want to be remembered as a top bloke, someone who walked my own path in music, film, and artistry, despite what others had wanted. The person or people who have influenced me in my endeavors, Tom Savini, Wes Craven, and the music Slipknot, to some of my homegrown Aussie comedians, Kevin Bloody Wilson, who I think you would like similar naming song starts with a C. And Rodney Rude to the CKY crew. Even AOD has an influence in the way I make music now. The legacy I'm building is the oddity, from clothing to personal songs. My grandchildren will know the grandpa oddity, haha. But yes, so as long as I don't stray from that, I'll get there in the end. Lots of love, brother, from your Aussie mate.
Yeah. Shout out to Jacob. Jacob's a longtime online friend and fan of the band and supporter. So great to hear from you, Jacob. And I think he's actually commented before on the questions of the week and mentions a lot of kick-ass entertainers on here. Tom Savini's done some killer stuff. Wes Craven as well, obviously. I think Tom Savini actually made one of Corey Taylor's masks or helped them create it or something along those lines. Yeah, CKY, old school, and it's fucking awesome to see that AOD has made an influence or helped make an influence on Jacob's life. It does feel fucking good, dude. And I love, like I always tell people, like other musicians, I'm like, dude, don't give up. When my friends that do music stop playing music, they sell their equipment or whatever, I get so fucking mad. Like, I literally get mad and I'm like, dude, you're going to come back to this. You're going to miss it. Don't sell your fucking equipment. I know times can get tough, but you're going to want that. You need that creativity. And if you're good at something, and I know that the people that I hang out with, my friends that are musicians, they're great at what they fucking do. You shouldn't give up. Keep doing it, even if it's not paying the bills. If you love what you're doing, but you feel like, oh, it's not worth it, or why am I doing this or whatnot, you got to keep pushing, man. There's people that enjoy your work. That's one of your many purposes, I'm sure, if you're good at it and you're enjoying it. I always encourage my friends that do art, that do music, that do whatever, keep pushing for it. If it's something you love, do it. If you don't love it, if you really just hate it and you're just like, why am I doing this? I hate this and blah, 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 blah. If you're doing it to get fame, money, and all that shit, those are all the wrong reasons. But if you actually enjoy it and you truly put your heart and soul into it, keep fucking pushing forward. So hell yeah, Jacob.
Yeah. The next one is from Curious Emberborne. They say, I want to be remembered as someone who helped people feel seen, heard, and valued.
Fuck yeah.
That's great. And I
love
bet
that
you
too.
do. I mean, I know I haven't met you, but just from, especially after the podcast and what Cody was sharing and just interacting with you on these chats or on these weekly questions of the week. I just feel like you're a great person, Curious. And especially, it sounds like obviously everybody will hear, but you've been through a lot. And so just to be someone that wants to be positive and be remembered for helping people feel seen, heard, and valued, I think that's huge. Because that to me means that you didn't succumb to the negativity.
The chaos that you lived.
The chaos and everything that happened. You said, fuck that shit. I'm going to be me and I'm going to do this. And this is what I want. I think
love
that's
that.
Great.
And Curious's story, like I said, you want to listen to it. It's when you live something like that, I feel like it'd be real easy to just give up and say, fuck it. And I'm going to be either a shitty person or I'm going to end my life or do something crazy like that. And you know, it's human nature to kind of lean that way. But when you overcome that and you turn it around and say, fuck that, I'm not going to let that define me. I'm not going to let that. If it defines me, it's going to define me in a way that I'm taking this chaos, I'm taking this negative bullshit that I lived through, and I'm going to do something positive with it, whether I'm creating music, I'm helping people be heard, I'm telling my story, and people can see that you can overcome that and live through it and still have a positive spin on life. That's purpose right there. That's a reason to share. And that's why I enjoy talking about my sobriety. That's why I enjoy talking about the chaos. It's not that I'm glorifying the craziness that I've lived and all the nutty things that I've been through and whatnot, but it's just so that people can see that people can change. People can overcome bad decisions that they make, and you know, there's always hope and there's always an opportunity to turn bad things around.
That's right.
Oh, it's my turn? All right. Next one is from Neckbeard News. Neckbeard says, we take the concept of music back to its roots. Before it was conglomerated and regulated, music was bare human expression. Talent wasn't a necessity to make it. Just normal people with janky, rundown instruments, potentially instruments they built themselves, playing music for people they loved, music too minimal and primitive to be recorded. Fuck yeah, that's very true. We tend to ignore all the criticism because the criticism is always, you can mix this better if. You could make the bass hit harder if. Her vocals could be louder if, etc., etc. This is all criticism based on the way music is now, but our focus is not on modern mastery. It's on bare bones expression. Every song is a unique type of candy. Every album is an art museum. Self-contradiction is also a quicksand that too many artists fear to tread. I suppose max experimentation and ignoring the modern industry standard is what I want my legacy to be. This is also why nu metal is my favorite genre. No matter of unconventional the music sounds, it's still nu metal. Fuck yeah. Neckbeard, fucking right the fuck on. I 100% agree with you on this. And that's living authentically to me. You're not following the trends. You found something that you like and you're experimenting with it and you're taking your own twist on it, and fuck the standards, fuck the copy and paste bullshit of, hey, this is popular on the radio. I got to try this. I got to try this. If you like something that's on the radio and you try it, cool. But if you're just doing it because you want to fit in this puzzle that fucking satellite radio is saying you need to sound like this and have this fucking, yeah, bullshit. Fuck all that shit. We have tried to be on satellite radio, and I'll tell you this right now, that fucking we're not going to change who we are to try to appease those people that decide what is popular and what isn't. Like, I hear satellite radio, and I won't name stations, but it's always the same shit. Anything that's new all sounds very fucking similar, and it's bullshit. And it's like, okay, I've sent you guys clearly good music and awesome things that are a little bit different than this, or actually a lot different than what you're playing, and you still don't want to give it a chance. All right, well, fucking whatever. I will keep moving forward, and I don't have to support. You vote with your dollars, like they say, right? I'm not going to subscribe to those stations. I'm not going to listen to them. I'm not going to follow them on social medias or any of that kind of stuff. I get passionate about this just because I love authenticity, and I just feel like satellite radio and these certain web zines and all these kind of shits, like they have these certain genres that pay them certain amounts of money to do this. And it's a lot of times it's the record labels that are just like, hey, we're pushing this band and you need to play them and you need to play them. And it's like, cool. It all sounds the fucking same. And be authentic and be yourself, Neckbeard. And I'm glad you're doing that. And nu metal is for a matter of fact, the best style of music, period. I love all forms of music. I love all forms of metal, but new metal is that's my jam.
Same.
Next one comes from Evan J. Thomas. Shout out to Evan. We were actually guests on his podcast and his media that shared us, and we had an awesome interview with Evan. So shout out for commenting, and go check out Evan. Helping the local Chicago scene get noticed more. And I love that, Evan. Like, I do see you pushing bands from all over the board, but the fact that you're involved in your scene and trying to help build it and get it heard and seen, that's very important. There's not very much of that. I can say in Oregon, there's a couple of people that are doing something similar, but it's not like it used to be back 10, 20 years ago, unfortunately. So it is important to keep doing that and keep kicking ass. And I love your show, man. I get excited when I see that you have new guests on there, and especially when you have big guests too, obviously. Shout out to Evan. Next one's from Jen Lewis. Might sound cliche, but I only want to be remembered as a good mother and wife.
I don't think that sounds cliche at all. I think that's great.
Nothing wrong with that at all. I love that. I love that because your kids are going to be, and your husband, your kids are going to see that, and it's going to make them want to be better parents. Absolutely. When they're parents. They're going to want to be.
Family is what matters.
Exactly.
In this whole weird, wicked world, your family.
And happy husband, happy wife. I know people say happy wife, happy life, but it all works the same. You know, if you keep your wife happy, you're gonna have a good life. But both
keep each other happy.
Exactly.
And communicate and work together.
I love that she mentions both being a good mother and being a wife, and there's nothing wrong at all with that. I think that's actually a great thing to be proud of and something to be remembered for. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Jen for that. Good. I'll let you read the next one.
All right, it's from our pal, John Wold. What do you want to be remembered for? He says, I want to be remembered as a man who made a real impact on my family, my community, and my country. While I'm here, I want to touch as many lives as possible and help people rise up to become their higher selves. As I build my own success and wealth, I want to bring others up with me and help them become better versions of themselves. Follow-up questions. Are your actions reflecting that? Yeah, I think so, at least with the capacity I have right now. Most things I do or think about doing are aimed at improving my own situation, but I'm always asking who else can benefit from this. Who can I bring along or help out in the process? Who influenced that desire? That's a good question. I think most people have that natural desire to give back and uplift others, but not everybody builds the capacity or actually follows through on it. For me, a big influence has been Andrew Tate. Love him or hate him, his messaging for men is powerful. He pushes you to become the best version of yourself, to lead in your circle, and to step up. His motivational stuff really fires me up and empowers me. What legacy are you building? I'm focused on growing my family first. I want to be the dad who never misses his kids' events or spends as much quality time with them as possible. At the same time, I'm working on building an empire of business that can create real lasting impact in my community. I want to be that friend who's always there, encouraging, empowering, and pushing you to grow. And above all, I want to be the best husband I can be to my wife, always providing, protecting, nourishing our relationship, and finding ways to make it deeper and more fulfilling. John, you're so cool. I
fucking love it too. I love everything you just said here. And I always love hearing from John because John always has some great feedback to provide and great perspective, and especially like the fact that he wants to be a great provider, family man. I was just talking about that this morning about how I want to make you happy, and I want the boys to be living their best lives, and that's what's important to me. And
you're
then
happy, I'm happy, and when I'm happy, you're happy.
Yeah, so exactly. It goes around in a circle. I want the things that I do for us to have a better future and to be happy and to be fulfilled. And then I worry about what's the next outer circle. Like then there's my mom, my brother, stepbrothers, stepdad, like all that, like my family, my immediate family, cousins and all that. I worry about them and care about them and love them. And then aside from that, then you have your close friends and your band and all that shit. So making sure that everyone's happy and feeling fulfilled. And of course you're gonna have conflict. There's always going to be conflict. That's within your relationship, there's going to be conflict, and you have to accept that. I don't know too much about Andrew Tate. I've seen some of his videos, and I always love hearing some of the shit that he says. It's empowering. So I'll have to look into that a little bit more. I know he's a controversial figure, and people have a lot to negative to say about him. But is there? You probably have. A lot of people, like what I've seen is people have this negative thing that he's toxic masculinity and all that shit. It's like, no, we've just watered down men so much in 2026 or in the last 10 to 15 years that any guy that looks like a normal guy is going to look like he's toxic because he's talking about things that, you know, like I think me and you were talking about this, where men have been made to be like so feminine like. And then you see these chicks that are like, oh, I want a real man. Like these guys are all fairies or they're this and that and this and that. And it's like, they're so like emotional and all this crap. And it's like, it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be, but at some point it's like you've watered down men so much that like it's damaging, in my opinion. To each their own how you want to live. But I feel like, especially like the younger generation, I think we were just talking about this too with my post that I made about the short shorts. Like it just, I don't understand it. I don't like the short shorts either.
No offense if you wear them, you do you.
Yeah, everyone do you. Like you do yourself. Everyone's got an opinion.
I'm like, I like the whole, like my style's always been like SoCal skater guy. Like I like the cargo shorts, like the Vans or like the Dickie shorts and just a t-shirt and a hat. Like I have some tattoos. Like to me, that's always been hot.
Yeah.
But that's also the era that I grew up. So
yeah, the new era. I feel like nowadays, like guys are just, they're so watered down, the younger generation. Unfortunately for them and unfortunately for the females that are going to be around them, because what does that do to the females? What's the impact that has long term? It can empower them, make them feel more empowered, which is good. And I always encourage that. Like I love seeing women take lead roles and taking charge and what have you. But at the same time, like that's also a guy that should be doing that. A guy should be more masculine than I've seen the younger generation be. And I will say this right now, I don't relate at all. And I think I said this on my post yesterday. I don't relate at all with the younger generation, not in any aspect of it. I don't understand it, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't want to be cool and hip to them because I don't relate to them.
Well, and that wouldn't be, you wouldn't be authentic to yourself.
Exactly. I wouldn't be authentic to myself. I would be trying to chase the next trend and all that. And to me, I said this before too, is like, I'm embarrassed for people that are my age or around my age that are trying to still look like they were 15 or like trying to catch those trends that these young kids are doing. Like, stop doing that. Like, do you? Yeah. But like that's not authentic. You're chasing the latest trend, and it's just like it's embarrassing when I see that.
I see it a lot on TikTok, especially like with women. I'm like, oh my god.
Men do it too, believe me. Like they're like these little haircuts that they're getting and shit. Like it's like you're 40 years old. What the fuck are you doing? Act your fucking age. All right, so let's get to the question. So as a reminder, what do you want to be remembered for? Me, I want to be remembered as someone that was very authentic. I am myself, whether you like it or not, and you get a bold truth from me. I tell you how I feel, how it is. You don't have to wonder if I'm beating around the bush. If it sounds cold and heartless, that's your perspective, and that's fine. But I'm going to tell you how it is, and you're going to get me 100% authentic. And you're not going to get something that's trying to fit into what the majority of people are thinking or feeling like or any of that. I'm not going to try to fit into your puzzle of what you think it should be. You're going to get Cody Perez, and that's all you're going to get. And I've always been like that since I was a kid, because I've never really cared what other people think at all. I always encourage people to be themselves. Even if I don't like what you're doing, be you. I encourage it. Just understand, just like I understand, that people will criticize you for it. And I've always had people criticize me for all sorts of things, and I'm okay with that. I understand that when I put myself out there, whether it be with music, with how I look, what I do with my hair, what I do with my tattoos, what I do with piercings that I had in the past, what I drive, whatever it is that I do, I expect that there's going to be people out there that don't like that will critique it and talk shit, and that's fine. I can talk shit back to you. It goes back and forth, and I'm okay with that. But I always encourage people, be yourself. So I want to be a person that's remembered for being authentic and also pushing people to be themselves, and just be authentic. Don't try to keep like this fake image of what you think you want people to think of you or what you hope that they are. Just be yourself. And also, like I mentioned earlier with one of our guests that mentioned it, I don't want to be a person I want to be remembered as a person that never quit. I kept going, kept pushing for the things that I want and I love, and I don't accept failure. I learn from my failures and I move forward. I don't let it hold me back. I don't make excuses. I'm accountable. Those are the kind of things that I want to be remembered for the most. Sure, it'd be great to say that I was a rock legend or anything like that, but I'm not at that level at all whatsoever. If that happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm like, at the end of the day, these are things I want to be remembered for. I want to be authentic. I never gave up. I encourage people to be themselves. I was loud and proud about who I am. And I'm a hard worker. Those are the things that I worry about. And I love with all of my fucking heart. I love with fucking passion. Everything I do with passion, and I give it 110%. I always give you that extra, even if I don't have it. Like that old saying goes, sometimes you don't have 100% in you. You have, let's say, 70%, but I'm going to give you all that 70%. So essentially it's 110% that I'm going to give you that because I'm going to get to that 70 and then give it a little bit more. That makes sense. That's what I always encourage people to do. Are your actions reflecting that? I think 100% they are, especially now with my sobriety. Like as I've mentioned, that was a huge reason why I got sober, is because I realized I needed to keep moving forward. I needed to turn up the volume on my purpose and me being accountable and me being a hard worker and me being a reliable person, all that shit. And it wasn't going to happen without getting sober first. And now I'm adding more to my plate. I keep stacking things of keep me busy and keep me going to make sure that at the end of the day, people are going to be like, yeah, fucking Cody did it. Like he just really pushed. Who influenced that desire? I mean, I think I was just sick and tired of the same old status quo of here's another day. I'm going to get up, go drink, party with friends, do crazy shit, fall asleep, pass out, wake up, regret it, do it all over again. That cycle gets old, man. It's predictable. Like there's a lot of shit that you don't know what the day is going to bring, but at the same time that's coming. So it becomes predictable in itself. So for me, the influence was within myself. I just got sick and tired of the same old. And there was a need for a demand for a change within myself. What legacy are you building? I would say I just want someone that people can look up to and say like, hey, he did it. He did it his way. I can do it too. And so the legacy I want is just to leave that behind with others, that it's going to inspire others to do what they want to do. Not necessarily follow my steps and do what I do, but just inspire them to believe within themselves that they can make an impact on the world, that they can change, that they can do good things. And so that's where I'm at with that.
I love that, Perez. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. I think for me, what do I want to be remembered for? I mean, it's a few people mentioned it too, but I want to be remembered as someone that was nice and accepting, and someone was always there to help friends, family when they were in need, that I'm by your side. I like being the person like that my friends come to for advice because I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. If you want my opinion, I'm going to give it. The good and the bad. I'm not mean, but I'll say, hey, when I try to make even like maybe the more, I don't know if negative stuff, I always try to make it optimistic too. Like, sure, this is happening now. However, here are steps to get to XYZ or whatever. I always try to swing it into a positive. That's just my thing. There's just so much negativity in this world that I just want to keep things positive and light. Like we've all been through shit, like especially once you hit your 40s, I think we all have some sort of trauma of some sort, unfortunately, but that's just, I think, part of being a human and dealing with other humans. But I just want to, be someone that was like, when Mariah walked in a room, her smile lit it up and made everybody feel better. And that there was just a sense of ease and happiness.
I feel like that. I think I told you that. I've told you this before. There is something different when you walk into the room. And I felt this even back when we first met. Like you just have this energy of positivity that I feel like you light up a room. And I don't mean that in like, you do it to me in a love and romantic way. But I feel like even back then when we were friends, like you did that and you do that for others. And I think that other people can sense that. So you're already well on that. You have an aura about you that just oozes positivity, and you just make people, I think you make people feel better and like in a happy mood. So
good. That's definitely what I want to be remembered for. Are your actions reflecting it? Well, apparently. I try. I mean, I'm not perfect. There are days I'm shitty too. I'm in a bad mood. I mean, especially the perimenopause stuff, that's been HRT, like that's been fun to figure out, but I'm getting back there. I feel like my light's coming back. It did kind of dim for a little bit. So I hope I was still, oozing positivity as much as I could in that time, but I'm feeling really good now. So who influenced that desire? Honestly, my mom. My mom was like, she's obviously, but my mom has just always been that positive, like, I'm here for you, I'll do anything for you, I'll give you the coat off my back, like, if you're my family or a friend, or it doesn't even have to be that, just someone in need. Like, I've seen my mom just go out of her way and help people that needed it. So, I mean, she's always been such a positive light. And I mean, my mom, like, even in my freaking early 20s and going out partying with my friends would say, is your mom going to come out with us tonight? Get Pam to come out. I'm like, okay. So no, she's just, I think I take after her a lot, because I think she's absolutely one of those, like, when she would enter a room, you were just like, like,
lit up the room.
Yeah, she lit up the room. Just, her smile, her laugh, her positivity. I fucking snort just like she does, like laughing, like. But my dad's also that way too. Like, he can light up a room too.
He's very funny.
Yeah, he's funny and he has an energy to him. So luckily, like, have great parents in that. And I think good and bad, they've obviously have molded who I am today, for sure. What legacy are you building? I just hope that, whether this is legacy or not, I just hope that, when people think of Mariah Longfellow, I hope they think of like, oh, like, again, she was nice, she was positive, she was accepting. I just hope people will think of me and say, hey, I should do that, or I should be more accepting of people, or not saying change your views or anything, but just understanding, I guess, that everybody's going to be different. So you don't have to agree with what someone's doing, but we don't have to be so hateful. And let's just fucking hug it out, guys. It's not that deep. We're all just trying to live life on this spinning fucking rock. So let's all get over it and stop trying to push shit on other people. It is what it is.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to like everything you do and vice versa. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But we don't have to be hateful. I don't know.
Yep. I agree. And with that being said, that is the end of segment number 1. Please stick around for segment number 2. You don't want to miss Kira Emberborne, my guest, and the story shared on that segment. I promise you that you're going to hear some stuff where you're going to be like, what the fuck? Like that just sounds like it came out of a movie, but it's real and it happened. And I'm excited for you guys to hear Kira's story. So stick around for segment number 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to segment 2 of the Liquid Shape podcast. Today, I introduce you to my guest, Cody Emberborne. Welcome, Cody. Hello. I'm excited to have you on here because you have been a person that participates in the questions of the week, and you leave awesome comments. And one thing that I love about it, and I know Mariah loves about it, is that you always give a great perspective of your thoughts on different subjects that we bring up. And a lot of things I'm like, oh, wow, we think alike. And other things I'm like, oh, I didn't even look at it like that. And it helps me understand. So I'm very excited to have you on the podcast here to tell your story. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, and let's hear about your story, and we'll take it from there.
Well, hello. Yes, I'm Cyrus, longtime commenter, first-time guest. Yes, I love what you guys have been doing, and it's been fantastic for me, too, to be able to share some of my stuff that I don't get to normally talk about in day-to-day life with people. You guys offer a level of depth that the general population isn't super comfortable with. And that's where I like to live. I like to live in the Marianas Trench of oceans. Like, let's go deep as hell. So kind of to give you a quick overview of me is I grew up with a lot of trauma, and then that trauma continued to facilitate throughout my life until I started to seek therapy and really get in touch with who I was. And then I've always used performance as a way to, I guess, let out some of those societally unacceptable emotions, and just to get all those things out and that energy out of me through performance. And wow, I guess I say a lot too. I noticed you were talking about that in one of the first episodes.
We say you know a lot, and that's
okay, yeah.
Swear to God, I'm going to get a jar one of these days, and I'm going to have me or Mariah throw money into that, and that money's going to have to go to something like special, like
right.
to pay back so that we can reduce it. Because we actually, at the end of every episode, we do count, like, I'm like, because I'll go in there and I'll be able to filter like how many times we said it.
Uh-huh.
The last episode we did that just came out yesterday, 1 times on just our segments, and 100 and something other on segment 2 with my guest, myself included in that. So I'm very aware of that, and I still say it, and I say like a lot, and I say certain words, and I'm like, damn it, I gotta stop. So
right.
It's fine if you say it. Luckily this there's an AI form of editing for this that will filter out a lot of the ums and ahs. Not all of them, because it still doesn't catch all of them. It's not perfect, but
right.
It does filter out a lot of that stuff. So as you will.
All right.
I like that you're self-aware.
Yeah. Sometimes too much that, it can, self-awareness is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it is for sure. Especially for us overthinkers.
Oh my God, yes. Oh God. And creative people too. Like, I will create whole new scenarios to overthink and run down that fucking, oh my God.
I love that.
I could curse on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. It's Cody motherfucking Perez.
So anyways, let me kind of go back to the very beginning and share a little bit of my story. And again, feel free to jump in and ask any questions or whatnot for clarity, because I just kind of typed this thing out probably 4 or 5 months ago. I was part of an online group for victims of abuse, of certain types of abuse and whatnot. And I typed this out to kind of just share it with anybody else that may be feeling the way I've been feeling and whatnot, to see if there's anybody else out there that's gone through similar stuff. So without further ado, here we go.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
All right. I can't hit my drums right now. They're too far from me, but yeah. Drum roll.
Well, we have a metaphorical drum roll. No, that's not right. Anyways, okay. So I was born to parents who were still children themselves. And I mean, like, my mom was 17 when she had me, barely 17. And both families were families of incest and molestation and abuse. Both my parents were alcoholic drug addicts who exposed me to sexual situations, emotional and physical abuse from birth, including being raped as a toddler.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. One instance, I believe my mother attempted to murder me at 5 years old. I fell out of the second story of the apartment we lived in. And I haven't had any therapy to bring up any repressed memories, but I have always had this fear of when I'm near an edge that somebody's pushing me from behind. And I think that's where it came from.
How old were you? Were 2 years old, or?
I was 5 at that point.
5. Oh my goodness.
And so I fell and I was fine. I did like a full somersault, landed on my feet. And I couldn't walk for like 2 months after that. I didn't break anything, thank goodness. The facts around the situation caused me to think that my mom pushed me. I won't go into that detail, but there's no way possible that the resolution would have happened without her being in the same room.
Goodness.
And then there's another instance based on stories that my dad liked to tell of me almost drowning at 2 years old, that I think my grandmother tried to push me in the pool and drown me.
God, Kirsten, I'm so sorry. That's just, wow. That's a lot. And especially at just coming into the world, like that's
right.
Oh my God.
So needless to say, I felt like a burden and worthless almost my entire life. I was an absolute burden to my mother just because she was a victim of trauma and abuse as well. And then having a child at such a young age, she didn't have any idea what she was doing. And she had huge, intense rage issues. My father was too busy into partying. And I was a bit of an embarrassment because I made his mom, my grandmother, a grandmother in her 30s. And so there's another story that used to get told when I was a kid that when my grandmother was dating the guy she would end up marrying after my grandfather, that I came running down the hall going, "Grandma, Grandma." And the guy she was dating was like, "What did he say?" And my grandma was super embarrassed because she's a grandmother in her 30s. And so I think that's why she possibly just nudged me into the pool at 2 years old. And then on top of my mom being a horrible rage monster, she wasn't easy to live with either. So it was, let's get both of these people out of our family as quick as possible. So yeah, some heavy shit right from the beginning. Right.
That's that's like, I can't imagine. Like that's so much to take on. And then it feels like they're being raised by people that are trying to like end your life. Like that's like, and who do you trust at that point? If you can't trust your own family, did you have anyone at that time that like another sibling, an aunt, uncle, or anything like that you could trust and that you confided in, or that would look out for you, or a cousin or anything like that?
It didn't really come until I was probably 7 years old. That same person my grandmother was dating, she ended up marrying him. So for my earliest memories, I remember them being married, and he was a step grandpa, but he was my grandpa, and he was a safe person to be around. I actually went and lived with them for a little while in, what grade was that? That was third grade? In third grade. And that little window was probably the happiest time in my childhood. He's the person that introduced me to music. It was while I was living with them that I decided, oh my God, I want to be a performer, because we watched Back to the Future one night and the scene where Marty's on stage at the Under the Sea dance. I was like, that's what I want to fucking do. So I knew I wanted to be on stage and perform. He played guitar all the time and sang all the time. And it was the coolest thing in the world to me. So I credit him with being the biggest inspiration for me to pursue anything musically, and just to be on stage and to be an entertainer. And also I learned to be very codependent through all this abuse and whatnot. So I had to manage everybody else's emotions so they didn't turn into rage or violence. And so I had to keep people laughing and happy a lot. So it became a skill that I really had to develop for survival. And so as we fast forward into the time when I started going through puberty and whatnot, and I'm in high school, and I started becoming interested in dating, I was unconsciously choosing partners that were exactly like my mother. And I was often selected and pursued by these women because dating them, I felt so grateful that they seemed to care, and I would go way out of my way to prove my worth. And that caused me to be cheated on and abused in 90% of the romantic relationships I was in.
And we hear about that happen a lot, both to, it happens to parents that like a lot of times where girls go for guys that are like their father that wasn't there or that was abusive or whatnot. And then you hear about where it happens with men as well, like where they end up going for females that remind them of their mother that was either overbearingly there or wasn't there. And it's funny how that can happen. Not funny, like it's
cosmically funny.
It makes you think. It's like what your brain, how the brain works to attract someone to a person that is familiar with, that relates to something in their past that may not be so great, that maybe they're trying to fill a void there. And that just from what you're saying, like that your step grandpa was the person that you were able to confide in, it wasn't even blood. Family is a lot more than just blood. And in many cases, sometimes you find out that family is the people that are your blood are not out for your best interest, and it takes somebody else to show you compassion and love and trust and care and all that may not be blood related, but you consider them family because they care for you and they look out for you. And in this instance, this person was able to guide you in the direction of being an entertainer and bring you to a world that, you were able to vent out some of those chaotic moments in your life.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that whole thing, that's the Freudian psychology, isn't it? I mean, like, we unconsciously are attempting to heal the original relationships that were damaging to us through the partners that we seek. And unfortunately, the ego works in such a way that it seeks out partners to create situations so your ego is right. Like, if you feel like I'm worthless, I'm a burden, I'm unlovable, you will find people that will treat you as such. So the ego can maintain that status quo of, yes, I'm a burden, yes, I'm worthless, yes, I'm unlovable.
To convince yourself in a way, in a sense, to convince yourself, yeah, I was right. Like, even if it's not a positive way, like that's
right. The ego always wants to be right. So whatever you believe about yourself will be true. Like, the way you speak to yourself is so important. Like, it will create your reality around you. If you're constantly saying, I'm a piece of shit, I'm an idiot, I'm worthless, I'm dumb, you will find situations where you continue to feel those things, so it reinforces the ego. If you start telling yourself, you know what, hey, I'm pretty fucking badass in this situation, I'm really good at this, I'm compassionate, I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm caring, you will find situations that just come into your life that reinforce those beliefs too. So ego is not a bad thing. Everybody has an ego. It's just, how do you want to feed that ego, and how do you take care of it, right? It's that whole... the two wolves that live inside you thing, and which wolf do you want to feed?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of the energy that you have, that you surround yourself with, and that you put out, you're going to get back. Like,
right.
I know a lot of people that they just are always in really bad situations, but they're also always putting it out there. They're putting the bad energy. They're putting bad vibes. They're constantly in just this negative mood. So, like, I don't know what it is. It just, all this bad shit attracts to them, and constantly, like, every day is a different episode of some bad shit that's happening in their life. And I'm like, change your mindset, change the energy you're putting out there, and I promise you that things will get better. And it's like that old saying, whether you think you're right or wrong, you're correct.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And it's very simple. The solution is simple, but the practice is really fucking difficult.
It is.
And
it takes a lot of work, and it's that one of those mind over matter things for sure. Like, that you have to just work at it. And if you have to write it down, or you have to say it to yourself before you get up, or when you wake up in the morning, or, when you're brushing your teeth or something, there's everyone's different. I 100% can't speak for say that this is the way to do something or whatnot, because all of us take information differently and apply different things differently. But for me, at least, what works is a lot of just, I like to wake up early in the morning and I self-reflect on everything around me, what I have planned for the day, what I have around me, what I'm thankful for. I even think about the bad times. I think about those bad days when I was deep in my addiction and in some really bad relationships and all that. And then that makes me just think, like, I'm such in a better place right now.
Right.
But go ahead, carry on. Sorry, I'm going off right now.
No, I mean, that's what this is, right? We're creating a whole new something. we're creating right now just through our back and forth. And that's what's beautiful. So needless to say, through all this, like I never wanted to have a family because my experience, what that was, and having kids just seemed so irresponsible in my perception of how the world was. Like that just was so far from anything I could have ever imagined. And then I was selected by someone looking for a new place to live as she was breaking up with her boyfriend. And we started dating. And I fell deeply in love with her and begun to change my mindset on having a family. She was pagan, so I thought, okay, well, this is fitting. I'll propose to her on Halloween, the pagan New Year. And then on Thanksgiving, she called off our proposal 30 minutes before dinner. So dinner that year was really uncomfortable, let me tell you what.
I bet. Jesus. Like she called it off right there and then in front of others or just...
No, she called me into our bedroom and called it off. And then we had to walk out of the bedroom and go sit down and eat dinner with everybody.
Goodness. Perfect timing, right?
So perfect. And then on Christmas Day, she went and cheated on me with somebody she worked with. And then immediately following New Year's that year, got me fired from the job we both worked at with a bogus restraining order.
Right there, toxic person right there.
Yes.
And
just wait.
Oh no.
It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. This is like a horror movie. Like the whole story. I can laugh at it now because I've lived through it and I've healed from it. But I know people have heard this and been like, oh my God. So I signed up for the Air Force to get a fresh start right after that. I was like, okay, I got to leave. And I had a bunch of friends that joined right after high school. And I was like 23 at this time. And they're telling me, oh yeah, it's just like any regular job. It's no big deal. You just go to work and you go home and nobody bothers you. No big deal. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. I'll get my GI Bill and then I'll study a bunch of music stuff once I get out. Right before I left. So, okay, this happened. We break up right around New Year's Day and I leave for the Air Force in July. June 20th, 25th, 26th, somewhere around there. I was targeted again by another woman looking to leave her second baby daddy. And so we dated through my basic training and then broke up during my tech school because I really didn't want to be in a long distance relationship at that point. I'm just starting a whole new life and like, I don't need this long distance relationship thing. So we break up and she's pissed. And then I get through my tech school, which was about 6 months. And then after tech school, we got to go on like a 2-week leave. And so I came home and we reconnected. And then I get back to my first duty station and she proposes to me on the phone. Because I had kind of told her before, like, hey, I've done the proposal thing. I'm not ever doing it again. I was kind of jaded because I was hurt. And so she proposes to me, and being extremely codependent and love starved, I go, okay, yeah. So she hops on a bus 2 weeks later and arrives. And this is on a Friday. So we have to go to the courthouse the second she gets off the bus to elope because I'm not allowed to have a girl stay overnight in my dorms. So we have to go get married so the Air Force will give us a house to go live in. So we move into a house with nothing, no furniture, no anything, except for the little bit of stuff that I have in my dorm room. And about a month and a half later, her kids came out. But in that time frame before the kids came out, she started getting violent with me. The most ridiculous things is that she would attack me after having sex because I didn't want to have more sex immediately. Jeez. I need a nap. I need a sandwich. Or I'm just not interested right now. And so she would get violent and start like slapping at me and like digging her her nails and shit into my back and into my face.
She was like a nymphomaniac kind of thing, like where she just couldn't get enough of it, or...
She had her own trauma surrounding sex and abuse and whatnot. So she had a very unhealthy outlook on what sex was supposed to be like. And like during these times, she was really, really drunk doing this. And so there's no matter what I did, I tried to leave. I tried to get away from her. She would follow me and chase me and just keep attacking and until she would finally pass out. And so then I was like, man, this is not going to work. I was like, you need to get sober. We can't do this.
That's dangerous situation there. You just don't know, like, especially with someone that's drinking and it's violent, you might wake up and they got a knife over you ready to cut you up. And
right. So then after I tell her this and she starts going to AA, and the AA thing was like an off and on thing for the almost 5 years we were married. She would go and then she would relapse and then go and then relapse and blah, 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 blah. But then 6 months into our marriage, she decided to stop taking her birth control, and we were still wearing condoms, but she decided to write it off of me one night, and then she got pregnant. And so now I'm trapped. Like, I can't go anywhere. And I have no say, because even if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, a man has zero say on whether or not you get to keep the child.
Yeah. No,
period.
That's very true. I mean, that's kind of where we're at with that.
Mm-hmm. So she would steal money from our family to go buy pills and stuff.
While she's pregnant?
I don't know that she was doing drugs while she was pregnant. I know she was like sneaking cigarettes and stuff when I wasn't around, but telling me she wasn't smoking and whatnot.
Was she drinking too, or?
Don't know. She hid it so well. I don't know times that she was. And because of my job, I would be gone for 3 or 4 days at a time, like full day, like not just like during the day, like 72 hours or more at a time. And then I would come back home, and the kids were with her all this time, and she was alone with the kids. And so I don't know exactly what was going on. She told me if later, when she got sober for the final time, that there were times where she was drinking with the kids around. One time after our child was born, we were at the swimming pool and I was hanging out with the 2 stepkids. We were going down like the water slides and stuff like that. Well, she was hammered ass drunk and I didn't know. And she was supposed to be watching our child, and our child jumped into the pool and had to have the lifeguards rescue him. And he was 1.5, 2 at the same time. So here's another really fucking weird cosmic thing. The same thing happened to my kid at 2 years old, falls into a swimming pool and almost drowns. Like, yeah, it's so weird how that shit happens. So then she started.
Traumatic too. Like that's, for a 2-year-old, like that's, I just can't, I can't imagine.
So then she started cheating on me, and she started cheating on me with my family members, with my coworkers, with my bandmates. And so I began to shut down, and I was doing my best to care for her, our child, and my 2 stepkids who knew me as dad. So when we started dating, she had a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old.
And now she had 3 baby daddies, right? With you included. Like that's now 3. Oh my God.
And so these 2 kids only knew me as dad. Like they didn't know they had another dad. And so when I started withdrawing and shutting down, she saw that as a rejection to her and began to find her next target, who she met in AA. And then she left me and moved in with him. So then we got a divorce, and I had an attorney. She didn't. And I said, okay, let's split everything down the middle except for all the debts, which are all in my name, because I just wanted to be fair and I wanted to co-parent with her for the kids. And that was fine for a little bit because I had the kids almost all the time while she was off hanging out with this new person who would become her husband soon.
And you could have been really petty when you think about it. Like you could have just been like, fuck you. You fucked me over. I'm going to do what I can. Cause I know me personally, I can get really petty. And in a situation like that, I would have probably raised hell, especially you having a lawyer and her not having a lawyer like that. You probably could have done her dirty.
Well, I was a little petty. I'm not innocent in all this. That year when we got our tax return, she didn't get any of it. I kept it all. I had bills to pay. We had bought a house. We had a car we were paying off. Like I didn't give her any of that.
And you took the debt though, right? You said, I think you.
Well, yeah, I took everything.
Yeah. So
I could have said, here's half of the money, because you get that earned income credit for having kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I didn't. That was where I was really petty. And kind of at this point, I'm like, it's a wash. I'm okay with it. Like I've felt guilty and ashamed about it for years, and I'm not going to carry that anymore.
No. I mean, I feel like you did. You took the debt on. You took the money. You had to pay bills. So, if anything, like I said, I would have probably tried to find any way I could to burn her.
I know. I should have taken a dump in her gas tank or something. So then let's jump to the next woman, which didn't happen long after this. I think we got divorced in April of 2010, and then the next woman started talking to me in maybe February of 2011, somewhere around there. And she was also going through a divorce and sought me out through Facebook. And we had known each other from high school. And she lived in Oregon while I was stationed in Wyoming. And between us, the sparks and chemistry were instantaneous. Like we were so connected on every topic. Like it just blew me away. And I felt like, oh my God, this is the love I've been looking for my whole life. And so then I separated from the military in July that year after she and I had begun talking. And then in December, I decided I was going to move back home to Oregon to be with her. And so my ex-wife wasn't super cool with me moving away, but we had come to a handshake agreement on how to keep joint custody while living 1,200 miles apart. It was a really unorthodox idea, but it was feasible and would be in the best interest of the kids because they would get equal time with each parent and then also learn how to make new friends in different areas and whatnot. Anyway, I'm not going to delve into that part. That's because that's not important to the story. But so I moved back here in Oregon in December of 2011. And within 2 months of being with this new person, she went camping with the person she had an affair on her husband with while I was out of town.
Oh my God.
And then was telling me nothing happened. And I only found out because she slipped up. And when she was telling me about what she did that weekend, she said something about, oh yeah, we did this. And I go, we? What the fuck do you mean we? Who's we?
My God.
And then it comes out, oh yeah, we slept in the same bed and he kissed me, but nothing else happened. Sure, it didn't.
Shit. No, hell no. Fuck that. Oh
right?
My God.
So, okay. So 2 months after that, the ex-wife shows up in Oregon on spring break. She's got my 2 stepkids, but I had taken our biological kid with me because he wasn't in school at the time. So she shows up for spring break, lets me have the kids for a few days, and then says, hey, I want to go take them to visit my dad in Myrtle Creek. I go, okay, no big deal. So I load the kids up in her car and I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys in a couple days. Have a good trip. Bye. The next morning I wake up, she's calling me saying, we're on our way back to Wyoming. You're not getting the kids back. And then she had me served with paperwork. I went almost a year without seeing or speaking to our children. She wouldn't let me talk to them. She wouldn't let me see them. Well, okay, because we had joint custody, legally it's not. But that's exactly what it fucking was, right? So during all this, the new woman that I'm with is breaking up with me, getting back together, and telling me she's in love with this other guy. And that's when all the gaslighting really started. All the situations to me that felt like cheating were explained how it wasn't cheating and that my feelings were the thing that were problems. So we would argue for hours into the night. And
manipulation at its finest right there. What the fuck?
God. And so hours long arguing into the night to where at the end of it, I'm apologizing and going, you're right. I'm sorry. I fucked up. I did this. And also too, as I'm starting to, this is around 2013, I'm starting to gain some of my first awakening moments and consciousness really entering my actions and my behaviors, realizing that, hey, I'm responsible for how I react in any given situation. Nothing is ever happening to me. Things are just happening and I'm choosing how to respond to that situation. So I don't want to jump and be defensive. I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to go on attack because I'm in survival mode. I need to stop this fight or flight shit. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I would realize in these arguments, I'm getting heated and I need to stop because I'm about to say something mean or I'm about to be an asshole, which is usually that turning point that would happen in the argument to see, I told you you're the problem. So I'd ask for time. Hey, I need to walk away. I need to cool down. I'm pissed off. She would follow me room to room and keep poking at me until I would finally blow up and scream at her. And then she'd cry and then I'd apologize. And then now everything's fine because the focus is off her and now I'm the dickhead again. Then custody kind of got settled after about 1.5 years of going through court stuff. And the first 2 years after custody was settled was fine. I got to see all the kids during all the school holidays and whatnot. And they would come and they were really, really happy being here and often telling me we wish we could live with you. And that was heartbreaking because I've only got legal rights to one of them and I don't to the other two. One of the two doesn't know he has another dad, only sees me as dad. So he doesn't understand at all why he can't just come live with me. And then also every time the kids would come to visit, that new woman would cause some drama right after they'd get there that would send me into a spiral of depression. And then they'd leave and I'd be distraught and no one was there to comfort me. It was just instantly right back into the shit with the new person I was dating.
And I thought I had toxic relationships. In our last episode, we were talking about toxic relationships, and you said you wanted to say it for the podcast. I can see why. I thought I had it bad, man, but I don't know. I can't compete with that. The fucked up thing too is what happens is you go from one bad relationship and then instantly jump into another one that's you just when you thought that you've seen the worst, it's it just gets worse and worse and worse. And what that does to a person, instantly, I feel like it just makes you not want to trust anybody or want to be in a relationship with anybody. But at the same time, you have that loneliness, and then you crave, it's almost not that you crave the abuse, but you'd rather, sometimes when you get so lonely, you crave to just have something or someone to go to and turn to. So I can't, I cannot compete with anything you just said right now that you've been through. I've had some really bad shit myself in relationships, but nothing to that level. And unfortunately, when there's kids involved too, that just adds to it. So it's makes you wonder, If she's doing this shit to you, who knows the abuse that the kids are getting when no one's around, when the doors are closed, and when people are abusing people like that. I don't think it just stops with their significant other.
No.
I feel like it's in all aspects of their life. They treat their family like that, their friends like that, their coworkers like that, whatever is around them, because they know that they feel like they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when kids are involved, it tears me up, just because as being a kid that was around and saw violence happening in the household, that's not something that you ever forget.
No,
you can move on from it, but it's traumatizing, and it lasts for your whole life.
it does.
So I don't even know what to say to all that. Like you said, it just got worse and worse. It gets worse and worse. But the fact that you can talk about it now, laugh about it, does show that you've healed from it. Like I said, you don't ever forget, and it leaves us with PTSD in a sense, when certain things can trigger reminders of things like that.
Right. So to kind of jump ahead here, in 2019, I started going to therapy heavily. Like, I was going on a weekly basis, sometimes 3 to 4 times a week.
What finally made you go into therapy? Because I think that's a good thing to bring up, is because a lot of people, including myself, I've never gone to therapy myself, but my girlfriend Mariah is a huge advocate because she has gone to therapy. What was it for you that finally said, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot? Or what was it that finally got you to the point to say, I'm going to go to therapy?
So I had done it in my teenage years, and I had done it again when I was in the Air Force, when my wife and I were splitting up, because I was horribly depressed and suicidal. And I was like, you know what, I've got kids, and I can't kill myself because that's going to negatively affect their mental health moving forward. Like, I had no other reason to be here other than I don't want to do any more damage to these kids than I've already done through my unhealed bullshit. And so I did it in the Air Force as well. But it wasn't until that new woman and I split up. And so let me jump back again to the story, and then I'll get there. Because this stuff is kind of the reason why. So after the custody stuff had gone through and I had 2 good years with the kids, the ex-wife started creating reasons why each kid couldn't come during a visit. She started with the oldest stepkid and then moved on to the youngest stepkid. So one by one, she alienated me from them and got them to hate me. And this was all happening after being with this new woman for 5 years. Like, after we split up is when, like, each kid really started hating me. Like, they were not coming to visits for various reasons. Like, one year was the oldest had to stay home during summer break because he needed to go to therapy. Well, why can't he do that during the school year? Why can't he go to therapy with me here? Like, there's no reason why he needs to stay home. He ended up going to one therapy session and never another one. The second was the youngest stepchild wanted to play baseball during the summer. And I'm like, well, isn't baseball a spring sport? Like, why the hell does he need to stay and play during the summer? Why during my visitations do these things need to keep happening?
Yeah.
And then in 2017, the oldest just wanted to not have anything to do with me anymore. Didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to see me, didn't want to have any visitations anymore, because, like, okay, well, you're not my biological kid. I have to respect your mother's choices here and your choices. I'll back off and I won't force anything. I still was reaching out, like, with birthday messages and Christmas messages and stuff like that. And getting, like, really angry messages back that I'm not even sure were from any of my kids. I think my ex-wife was grabbing their phone and texting me as if she was them.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So I split up with the new woman, and I'm dealing with all this stuff with the kids, and the new woman didn't let me go easy. So one example of, like, the worst fucking thing she did to me after we were broken up is she showed up to a place I was DJing with her soon-to-be new husband. She sat across from the booth where I was at, making out and getting fingered under the table and slyly
Jesus
glancing
Christ.
over at me to see if I was watching.
Oh my God.
And then came up to me after, like, the bar was closing. It was like, oh, I didn't know you were there. And I'm like, motherfucker, you looked right at me.
Wow. Yeah.
We made eye contact.
Manipulative as fuck and just toxic, man. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
that's some stalker shit too. Like, she's trying to, like, rub salt in the open wound there. And
100%, because she doesn't
that
go to
makes you mad.
clubs. And I wasn't even a regular DJ. I was filling in for a friend. And he had put it up on Facebook that I was going to be there. So she's like, let's go.
Wow. Wow.
And so around 2019-ish is when my ex-wife got our child to turn away from me. Now, I think in December of 2018 is when I had set up that first appointment with therapy, because I started just realizing, like, okay, I keep choosing these situations. I'm choosing shitty people to be in a relationship with, but why am I doing that? Like, I need to figure out what the whole motivating factor is behind why I'm attracted to these kind of people, why I keep settling for somebody that gives me like breadcrumbs of love, and that I'm just trying to satiate myself on nothing nourishing. And also because I was pretty convinced, like, I'm a cancer on the entire world, and the world's probably just better off if I'm dead. But then not being able to go through with it again, because all I can think of is like, man, this is going to fuck up my kid. This is going to fuck up my kid.
Yeah.
So that's what got me into therapy, and started pulling up all this shit from childhood that, like, I had kind of normalized and was like, well, it's not abuse. It's not neglect. It's just my parents were just angry, and they were kids. They didn't know what they were doing. And so all this stuff starts coming up, and I start having panic attacks, and like, I'm having a hard time at the job I'm working at. I had started a new job in February of 2019, and I'm having panic attacks at work and whatnot, and like needing to go off in the corner and like just cry and hyperventilate for a few minutes until I can like try and reground myself. And then the owners of that place ended up firing me and telling me it was because of my mental health stuff. So giant illegal fucking move there. You can't fire somebody for mental health issues.
No.
Well, I'm already distraught and depressed. Like, fine, fuck it. I got nothing to live for. And around this time, I was just about to move out of the place I was living in to move into my van to do kind of the tiny living van life thing. And now I have no job, and my kid won't talk to me. And so like, I'm in the darkest place I've ever been in my life. I'm living in this tiny Chevy G20 van with my cat and nothing else. And I've got no work. I've got no prospects. I can't even get myself out of bed to do anything most days. And damn, brain fart. Where was I going with that?
You're in the darkest place.
Yes. So then COVID hits, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Jesus. And I'm already in a dark place. So here's the silver lining to all this. I was collecting unemployment from that job that I got fired from. You know what happened when COVID happened to the people that had unemployment?
I don't know. I was luckily working.
They got an extra $600 a week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
was making $900 a week on unemployment.
Oh, man.
A week.
Man.
So also around December of that year, I had finally put in a request to get VA disability because I had fucked up my shoulder. I had arthritis in my neck, and I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder from being married, and on top of my childhood complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD that happens over a long period of time. It's not just one event that like, oh, this was a big traumatic thing, like a car accident or something. This is a car accident every day for 15, 20 years, right? And so
it keeps replaying, like it replays itself.
Yep. So you can never get out of it. You can never escape. You can never find any solid footing to stand on. So I start collecting this unemployment. I have my appeal in for, or not the appeal, but I have my initial VA disability claim in, and I get that in April and 2020. So right after the shutdown happened too. Oh, and the shutdown happened on March 14th when I had tickets to see Tool in fucking Eugene that night. So that concert got canceled. I was pissed.
I saw them, not to interrupt, but I'm interrupting.
Yes.
I saw them the night before for the first time in Portland. So I remember that day because like you didn't miss much. I love Tool, but it was the person I went with fell asleep watching them. They were so upset because they put on a great light show, but they didn't have any stage presence.
Right.
And the next day I went to work and I started telling people about it. And then basically they told everyone at the call center, they're like, you need to go home. You're going to be working from home. We don't know for how long. And that we packed up our stuff. And then I saw the post that Tool canceled in Eugene. So crazy that I remember that.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
So in April I got, I had like a month and a half or whatever, the pandemic assistance unemployment. And then I got my VA claim was approved. So they paid me for 5 months back because they pay you from when you initially put in the request. And then when they give you a rating, they give you all that back pay. So 2 different times I open up my bank account and there's thousands of dollars in there. And I'm like, well, where the hell did this come from?
That's pretty badass.
So I instantly go pull it out, right? In case it's some kind of clerical error, right? Like, well, I'll just pay it back later. So I find out, no, this is all good. So then I'm sitting on like 8 or 9 grand. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got to get out of this van. Cause like, this is one of those, it's just a normal van. Like I can't stand up to change my pants in this thing. Like I have to be on my knees and then shimmy to my butt to put pants on. And it's just tight. It's cramped. And so then I find a short school bus online that's basically already decked out on the inside. This guy that owned it, it was an elk hunting vehicle for him and his grandkids. So there's like bunk beds in it. There's a wood burning stove. There's a
nice
propane stovetop and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, well, it's move-in ready. I can buy this. So I bought that thing for like $7 grand and then moved into the bus. So, and again, all this time, like I'm not talking to my kids. I'm just trying to find reasons to stay alive. And throughout all this, I'm writing music too for the first time. I mean, I had written some in a band I was in high school. And then when I got into the Air Force, I started joining cover bands and doing the cover band thing because it was like, okay, well, there's money in it. We can make money playing music.
And just to interrupt you, what can you share what you do, like what style of music and what instruments you play and what have you?
So I'm primarily a vocalist. And the way I would describe it for years is that I'm a performer first and foremost. I'm a vocalist second and a musician a distant third. Like,
love that.
I would only pick up, I wanted to play guitar because of the Back to the Future thing and Marty McFly playing, but I didn't get a chance to really take it seriously in high school because my parents also grounded me a lot for the smallest infractions. Like one time I was grounded for 6 weeks for wearing a pair of dirty pants to school. They didn't want me to wear to school.
Oh my goodness. That reminded me of, I love South Park, so that just reminded me of Butters.
Oh no, I was totally Butters, 100%. Oh, come on, guys. So, yeah, and grounded for me meant I wasn't allowed to leave my room except to come down for a meal or to use the restroom. Like I couldn't talk on the phone to anybody. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't play video games. I couldn't listen to music. So I've got a guitar, but like I can't plug it in because I'm not allowed to play any music or listen to any music. I can't listen to music, so I can't try to figure out songs. You know, and it would just be like trying to figure it out from memory. Yeah. And so I learned a lot of really bad fundamentals and like couldn't get the passion for the instrument down. So it just kind of became a way for me to facilitate the fact that I wanted to sing. And so I would just be like a lumberjack chopping wood on my guitar. There was no finesse. There was no technical skill at all. I'm just playing cowboy chords and just chugga, 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 chugga. So I could sing and get those emotions out because that was the socially acceptable way that I can feel anger. I can feel rage. I can feel intense sadness is I could sing these songs that the emotion of that song is that feeling. Right.
Yeah.
And so hard rock and metal were the thing that like drew me because that hard rock and metal doesn't shy away from those uncomfortable emotions. Right. Like that's where we fucking thrive. That's what we do. And that's it. You know, it became evident to me that like this is therapy for all these people. These aren't just a bunch of angry like criminals that are out there like trying to destroy the world. No, we're just angry, hurt people that want to feel a sense of belonging and a place that we can go out and let those things out and not feel judged or told that we're evil people because like we want to sing about murder or we want to sing about how horrible my heart's broken and I want to die. Right. Like, it's just a safe place to let out everything that you feel inside without judgment.
And it's a community. It's a community. You're around people that think like you, feel like you, that maybe experience some things like you that you don't feel like, oh, like this person wouldn't understand what I just been through. Or
right. So yeah, metal and hard rock it still is. That's what I love more than anything. My listening is more eclectic now, but it's still hard rock and metal will always be the thing that my ears perk up the most for.
Right there. I'm right there with you. I'm just saying I love everything, but metal, and there's a special place for metal and hard rock and just rock in general for me. It's like you said it perfectly. Like it's where people, they don't shy away from their emotions and their hurts and their anger and their pain, their sadness, all of that stuff. And it's the real shit, man. That's not, there's no faking it.
Right. Well, okay. So like Disaster Piece by Slipknot, you know, and I was like, yes, motherfucker. I was like, that's the most evil line anybody could ever write in a song. This is beautiful.
100%.
So yeah. And it was 2017 that I like started dabbling into writing music. I had wanted to do it for years, but I was in cover bands, and the cover bands I was in, nobody wanted to write anything original. They just wanted to, no, I just want to learn these songs. I just want to show up and get paid and I want to go home. Meanwhile, I'm showing up to the venue of these, we're playing bars and shit, right? I'm showing up to the bar 4 hours early because I have elaborate stages to set up and lights to set up and costumes to change Like I'm painting myself head to toe in acrylic paint in my underwear for a fucking $100 a night bar show. Like, I mean, I was getting $100. Everybody in the band was getting $100, but you know, I'm wanting to do these big theatrical performances. So Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, that album and that live show, that blew my fucking mind. And that and what Marilyn Manson was doing in the 90s, like when I was in my teenage years, was like, oh my God, this is how I want to do it.
Yes.
And then years later, I saw Ghost and I was like, these guys are doing it exactly as I want to fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
And so the whole time I'm in this band, which was called The Liberated at the time, I'm going through tons of different members and I'm just trying to keep the band together so I have that outlet. It's scratching a little bit of the itch of what I want to do, but not quite. I'm still feeling very unfulfilled this whole time. And so the band played its last show New Year's Eve, 2019. And that's when I really started focusing on, okay, I'm going to write an album. Because I had been dabbling around with Logic Pro on my Mac for just writing stuff and just trying to exercise those muscles, right? That I didn't have much experience with and was honestly really unconfident that I could write my own stuff. I always thought I needed to have a collaborator because I'm, again, performer, singer, distant third, a musician. Who the fuck am I to write any songs? I can barely play any chords.
The best stuff comes from that, man. Like, honestly, like I always say this, I always tell people I'm first an entertainer. I don't consider myself a great vocalist. I'm always working on that. And I know that that's a weakness of mine for my singing and for my screaming, but I'm always working on it. But I always tell people, but I am one hell of an entertainer and I push for that. So like, when you said that, I'm like, oh, that's kind of similar to how I feel. My philosophy is like, I'm an entertainer first, a performer first, and everything else just comes afterwards.
Right. And so you play to your strengths, right? Like that's where my strength lies, and I'll work on the weaknesses as I go. So yeah, 2019, it was just, okay, well, I'm going to get a 13-song album done. And I just kept writing music and writing music for other people too. Like I had a friend from back in Wyoming that was designing one of those porno dating simulator games. And he's like, hey, I've got this scene where you're going to be in this bar and it's like an Alice in Wonderland themed bar. Can you write me a song that just loops in the background for it? And so I did that. And it turned out really cool. When you have no attachment to something and you just throw it out there, like it comes out really good because you're not overthinking it, right? Yep. So this song came out really fucking good.
That's awesome.
And also back to what you were saying earlier, when you limit your palette and your toolbox, you're forced to be more creative, right?
Yep.
Like if you don't have
the less you have, the more you can create. It seems like it's really weird. And then the more you have, it seems like you're like, well, fuck. It's like when I go to like a restaurant that has a huge ass menu, like the Cheesecake Factory. Like you have a million pages. Like by the end of the time, like by the end of when it comes to ordering, you're like, I don't know what the hell I want. And then you end up ordering something in the last minute, and then you're not satisfied because you're like, oh, I could have gotten this, I could have gotten this, I could have gotten that. But yeah, when you put yourself in a corner,
choice overload.
Limited, I feel like, you can be a lot more creative.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the choice overload thing is real.
Also, I don't know if you found this or not, but like when you have the pressure on you to perform or to create, sometimes I can over prepare for something, and I love to be like ahead of the curve. But then sometimes I do this to myself because I know it's going to bring out the best in me. I will wait till the last minute and I'll slack, and then the pressure's on. And it's like, shit, I have to write right now on the spot right now when I'm in the studio. Fuck. But then like some of the best shit comes out right then and there too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So you will always leave yourself exactly enough time that you need to get the job done. Right.
Yep.
And in those high pressure moments, it pushes out the most important shit because it has to be done.
And then it's real. It also is real. It's in that moment. And then that stuff stands out because then later I don't know how you feel about it, but like sometimes when you write something and you don't hear it, like at least for me, once I put something out, I usually don't listen to it again or revisit it. But then like maybe years later, it comes back and I'm like, oh shit, I remember exactly where I was at that point. I can smell the air that was around me when I wrote that or when I was being part of that process. And it's crazy what art can do and music and all that can do for you.
No, I absolutely do the same thing. So that one album turned into, as I'm writing all this stuff, I couldn't condense it down into these 13 songs I wanted to do. And then I started realizing, oh shit, I'm trying to do the Marilyn Manson thing and create a triptych like he did with Antichrist, Mechanical Animals, and Hollywood.
Yep.
And create this narrative that spans 3 albums. And That's when I decided, okay, I've got 3 albums I'm writing. Each one's going to be 11 songs because 33 has always been a number that's been big and important to me. And at 33 years old is when all that stuff culminated with the ex-girlfriend who was showing up while I was DJing and my ex-wife and whatnot, and a mushroom trip I was on where like I felt like I completely died and was being reborn to build myself back from the foundations. After that relationship with the girl that showed up while I was DJing, like I didn't know who I was anymore. I had no fucking clue because I had believed everything she told me about myself. And so I realized, fuck, man, what I'm doing here is I'm writing this story of my journey, this story of the abuse and the story of the fire that I had to go through and die. And then the story of my
yourself.
Rebirth. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, the Phoenix thing is so cliche, but that's exactly what it was for me. So this, when I have all the songs done for all the albums, and I have the first one, everything's done on it and ready to release. My birthday's on Friday, and I think that's the day I'm going to start pushing stuff out. And I know you and I had kind of talked. Yes.
So I'm gonna push this. I'm gonna push this podcast out next Monday. I'm gonna make it so that we release it next Monday. That's pretty exciting. Where will you be pushing this out to?
So I think I'm gonna throw the whole album on Spotify, and then I think I'm going to kind of do what you were talking about with the 6 to 8 week release window and just do through YouTube and release different aspects of the content or singles. I haven't figured it out quite yet, but like I see how much you're on Facebook and whatnot, and I don't want to chase the algorithm like you were talking about. Like I so don't want to do that.
Dude, I'm limiting myself as it is right now. I'm like, I almost this morning, I almost just pulled the plug on all my socials just because I'm so tired of it. And then I'm like, God damn it, I have an album that we just put out, and we have a single coming out next week, a new single and video. I'm like, I can't do it. But I would love to just completely disappear off social media, to be honest with you. And I'm going to do it at some point, but
I did from 2019 to 2023. And then I started playing solo acoustic shows. So I was like, okay, I got to have my Facebook back to start promoting and whatnot.
Yeah. It's just a double-edged sword.
The only thing I really get on Facebook anymore is to answer your questions of the week and to listen to the podcast and stuff.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, man.
I'm excited for your album. I'm very excited. Do you have a link already for your Spotify or where people will be able to, like on the show, I'm going to make sure and get links from you to put on the description of the show. But for the listeners as well, do you have like a link that already exists out there for folks to be able to go out and check out the music that you put out on Friday? Or
I don't have anything set up on Spotify yet, but it will probably be under the banner of 7 Year Sacrifice. That's what my YouTube channel is. So you can go to YouTube and type in 7 Year Sacrifice, and that'll actually bring you to a show that I did in 2025 called Curious' Rock and Roll Variety Show. And I did this show on Valentine's Day. Because I've been single for 7 years, and Valentine's Day is one of those like, man, fuck you, Valentine's Day. I don't give a shit. So I'm like, there's other people that got to feel this same way. So I'm going to put on a show this is for singles. Like, don't come here if you're in a couple. This isn't for you.
Yep.
And so I built this show that was going to be a mix between live theater, film, and a rock concert. So I gathered 4 other performers besides myself, and I had them create a character that embodied what loneliness and heartbreak meant to them specifically. Then we went out and shot video packages for everybody. Now, these video packages, they were going to air as an introduction to their character right before their character would come on stage and sing a song. And then during their song was another video that would play on the big screen behind all of us while they're on stage performing and moving around and acting out everything that's going on. So there's no spoken word during this. Everything is all through the interpretation of the video and the songs that each performer chose.
That's fucking cool.
And it turned out so great. I got about 80% of the ideas I wanted to incorporate into the show into it. I'm working on the second one right now, but you and Mariah want to watch it one night. Like it's 80 minutes. I condensed it down to an 80-minute feature-length film, and it's on YouTube, but it's really unique. And like, I would love to hear your input on it because I was so proud of this show to put it out there. And like, it really hit me like this is how I'm trying to do my music. This is what I'm trying to do. Cause it's allowing people, these other performers that I brought in, like they've never played with band before, but they all had these deep emotional wounds that like, I'm now giving them a platform to go and share that with the world and connect with people.
I love that. Cause who knows what they're going to do from this, from that's going to sprout out or branch out their own other creative juices. They're going to be like this. Now This person might become an actress or an actor. This other person might become a musician because of that. This other person might be a writer, like a painter, whatever. Like you doing that guarantees going to inspire these people to go out and do other things from this.
So that actually happened with one of the performers. We had done this at one of the playhouses here in town. And through my connection with the playhouse, I knew there was auditions coming up, and she killed it. She wasn't a great singer, but like she fucking killed it on stage. Like her charisma and her stage presence was just fire.
And that's sometimes even better than having the best voice. Like
Totally.
Honestly, it really, like, I am all about passion. Like if I feel the passion, if I feel that there's like some drive in there, I can overlook the imperfections. Like fuck imperfections. Like we're human. Like I could care less about that as long as it's not like screeching like nails on a chalkboard. But if I see the passion there and the drive and the hard work, I love that shit. I live for that.
Right. And that's exactly what it was. Like she believed everything she was saying. Like you could see it in her eyes when the camera catches her eyes. There's like a couple moments where you're like, oh, fuck, like that's intense. And so that got her into acting. And then now actually she and I are working on a song. We got it all written and everything last week. She's coming over actually tomorrow to lay down hopefully the final vocal takes on it. But that's so cool to be able to do that for somebody too. Like, she has no musical experience, but writes poetry and wants to write music. And well, I can facilitate that. So how fucking cool is that I get to help somebody do something they never dreamed they could ever do.
That is really fucking cool. And it's like, it goes back to like when you were at that stage in your life when you were questioning, like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And then you mentioned your kids. Of course your kids are, but like you are doing now music and you are putting music out there that's connecting people. You're inspiring people. And that just adds to your purpose. It's inspiring to hear your story that you just shared with us. And thank you a lot for sharing that kind of stuff, because that's not something that's easy to talk about and like to reflect on. And I can only imagine that even thinking about it still hurts, but I guarantee there's people out there that can relate to that out there that will be listening to this podcast that are going to be able to be like, what? I'm not alone. Like Chris was able to do this. I'm going to do something with my hurt and my pain. And someone that's gone through what you've gone through has a lot to say and has a lot to express and has a lot to share, that I think it would be a horrible thing. It'd be a tragedy and a loss if you didn't put the art out there, if you weren't putting out video, if you weren't putting out music and putting out lyrics and that kind of stuff that you're using from the inspiration of all that you've been through, from horrible family living situations and growing up to toxic, chaotic relationships that you've been in and out of, because everyone can relate to that. I mean, there's the family thing everyone can relate to some levels, but some of the things you said, like where people are trying to kill you, like that we're supposed to be raising you and whatnot, to actually talk to someone that's lived through that. So I'm glad that you are out there doing something positive and turning this around, and your outlook on life it seems like it's very positive. And you always, like I said, you always have something really great to say and share with our question of the week. Always love hearing from you. And I know Mariah was excited when I said that you were going to be a guest, and she said to make sure and tell you.
Right
so
on.
Hi from Mariah.
Well, hi, Mariah. And thank you so much.
Yep. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience here before we wrap it up?
I will just add one final thing in closing. The twisted part about all this is I'm eternally grateful for everything that happened to me, because I couldn't be who I am and doing what I'm doing without it.
I love that. That is so true. And that's a lesson for everyone. It's happening to you or happening for you. And it's a mindset. Like you mentioned earlier, it's one of those things where it's built character. You're stronger for it, and you have a purpose to share your story and to create and to help people feel like they're not alone. Like, so thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for contributing to the podcast on a weekly basis. Like I said, we love hearing from you, and thank you for being on the podcast. Maybe we'll have to have you on again, and maybe we talk some more stuff.
Well, I could talk for days about all this stuff. So
all right. Well, thank you so much, Curious. Everyone out there, please go check out Curious's music on YouTube and on Spotify. We'll have the links in the show description once Curious shares that with us. And make sure you support, follow. And do you care if people follow you on social media, on your platforms, if we include that in the links?
Yeah, go ahead. Curious Music on Facebook, 7 Year Sacrifice on YouTube, and I'm sure it will be 7 Year Sacrifice on Spotify. I'll be setting that up this week.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Cody.
And that is the end of segment number 2 with my guest, Curious Emberborne. Please go check out Curious's music. I'll have links in the description below. Thank you all for sticking around and listening to the podcast. Big shout out to our monetary contributors. Again, that's Eric Sheets and my friend King John, as he refers to be called. So shout out to them. As a reminder to everyone, this podcast does cost money to upload, to do the editing software, to use it all that time, aside from the time that it takes us to do this. So we do appreciate anyone and everyone that can contribute to it. There are links for you to contribute whatever amount you feel is appropriate or you can afford. That's always encouraged. But if you can't, again, we are just thankful that you guys listen to us.
Yes, thank you.
Very thankful for you guys contributing to the questions of the week and getting your insights on everything. So a big shout out to all of you who support us in one way, shape, or form or another. Keep listening. And I am always looking for new guests. So if you are interested in being a guest on this podcast, please email theliquidshapepodcast@gmail.com. Tell me a little bit about what you plan to talk about, and let's make it happen. We'll schedule a time that we can do this over audio online, because we don't. Everyone always thinks, I think, that we meet in person. For these, we don't meet in person. It's done through the web. So that's why I can get guests from all over the world. And I'm excited about that it's open to that. With that being said, guys, that is the end of the podcast this week. Thank you so much for sticking around, listening to us, and supporting us. And we will see you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Be sure to find us on all social media platforms, follow and subscribe.